Hey, welcome to the Michelle Mission, Two Men, One Podcast. Every black film ever made. My name is Len, aka the Bat Tribble. Hello. And as always, I'm joined by my partner.
Hey, what's going on? This is Vincent Williams.
Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the auspicious month of August.
Oh.
And we are traveling to the magical decade of the 70s all month long, starting off with Vincent's selection for tonight's stop on the mission. And this is an oft requested selection for the mission. Actually is one that we couldn't even believe that we hadn't watched.
I know it seems like we have, but even that I think might be part of the conversation.
That's very true.
Why does it seem like we've reviewed this already?
Well, we certainly have talked about almost all of the stars in this film already.
How about that?
Ivan Dixon, Bill Duke, Franklin Ajayi, Richard Pryor, Antonio Vargas, and the Pointer Sisters. Just to name, yes, a few, in Car Wash from 1976, directed by Michael Schultz, written by Joel Schumacher.
Yes, that one.
Yes, that one.
It seems like some of his film credits, he should have that after his name.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's the Joel Schumacher films that you know, but then it's like Joel Schumacher who wrote the script to this in The Wiz.
Right.
And you should put, yes, it's the same guy.
This is the same guy.
Yeah.
This is the same guy. Yes. This is not Mirror Universe Joel Schumacher.
Right.
Though it may seem so.
Right.
But we'll get into that, ladies and gentlemen, tonight on the Michelle Mission. First of all, shout out to each and every one of you out there watching and enjoying us as we stream via StreamYard to Facebook. Where else? YouTube, Twitch, and LinkedIn. Hello, everyone out there.
Good evening, one and all.
And everyone,
thank you for joining us
out there in the chat. What's up? Vincent, we are going to kick this right off. We're going to get things in gear, and we're going to start things off with listener mail.
Missives from the missionaries.
Yes. And we have an email from Belinda Silber.
Hey, what's up, Belinda?
Hi, guys. I stand corrected. Last week, actually, this was a few weeks ago, I wrote about the importance of the soundtrack for blaxploitation films.
Yes.
I stated that my all-time favorite soundtrack, hands down, is Superfly.
Yes.
Best soundtrack was the subject of another podcast I listened to, and yes, my beloved Superfly was mentioned, but they also mentioned Waiting to Exhale.
That's a good one.
And Purple Rain. So I stand corrected.
Yeah.
Purple Rain is the greatest soundtrack. Did I make a wise switch, Belinda?
I mean, sure. I think Purple Rain is a better album than Superfly. And that's saying something because I think Superfly is a magnificent album. And as far as soundtrack and the music being used with the film, I'll let you jump on that because that was your most pointed critique of the film Superfly.
Yeah, the music is like the movie does not deserve that soundtrack.
Right.
And it's a great sound. It is a fantastic soundtrack. And while it's fair to judge some soundtracks on their own as just a soundtrack, especially in more modern times when soundtracks are really just a collection of songs,
right,
as opposed to one performer or a series of performers trying to create music that really fits the mood of a film.
Right.
But I think to actually judge a soundtrack album, that is really the way to judge it.
Yeah.
How the soundtrack, even if it is just a collection of songs, how it fits into the overall mood and storytelling of the film. And in there, I think Superfly soundtrack is a failure.
Okay.
You know, even though hands down the album itself is great.
Right, as an album,
it's fantastic.
It's magnificent.
But as a soundtrack, it just doesn't work for me.
Right.
Purple Rain, I think, may be, if not the greatest, is certainly the best of both worlds
Yeah.
because it's a phenomenal album.
Yeah.
In and of itself. And as a soundtrack, even though there are definitely, it cheats a little bit because some of the songs are basically music videos
Right.
in the movie. There are definitely also some songs that are used to, illustrate or add some resonance to some of the scenery in the film. So I do think that it works there as well.
Look, I think the Take Me With You montage when they're on the motorcycle is almost perfect. I think the transition from Clarence Williams III playing the melody for Computer Blue and then the kid playing it at the club is fantastic. I was sitting here thinking, has a film utilized a soundtrack better than Purple Rain? And just off the top of my head, I couldn't think of any.
Shaft.
Here's the thing about Shaft. Like, we talk about the Shaft soundtrack. Once you get past the song Shaft,
that intro,
or just the song, like the theme song Shaft. How many other songs can you name off of that soundtrack?
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
Even though, to be fair, Isaac Hayes only does like about 4 songs an hour.
Right. But I'm saying, the thing about Superfly, like, you have Superfly, you have Pusher Man, you have Freddie's Dead, like the sound, like, it's song after song after song on that soundtrack. The Sparkle soundtrack, the Claudine soundtrack, but the Shaft soundtrack, and I like the soundtrack. I just can't think of anything else on it except Shaft.
No, you're right. You're right.
So,
what about not Purple Rain? What about Boomerang? Like, because I really do marry the two of those, the movie and the soundtrack.
Besides Love Should Have Brought You Home Last Night, I don't remember what. Well, I know Sex on a Platter is on the Boomerang soundtrack. Yeah, because that was the only place you could find it. But also
the PM Dawn track.
Yeah,
and I even,
that's a good use.
Like, and I even love like when it comes in the movie.
Yeah,
like the note when it comes in. I think I actually think that's a good marrying.
You want to hear something? It's the only Toni Braxton song I like.
Love Should Have Brought You.
Love Should Have Brought You. Her first song is the only Toni Braxton song I like.
Oh wow! So now you've got me down.
I know.
Now you've got me down to the Toni Braxton. Well, I'm trying to think of
plus Halle Berry pushing him in the forehead and said, you
love that moment.
This
may be the 5th time you've mentioned that moment.
She is on the show. Fantastic when she flicks off and says, "Love should have brought your ass home last night."
That's true.
I said, "Ooh."
That's true. But Linda mentions, and Camellia is mentioning it in the chat about Waiting to Exhale.
It's a great soundtrack,
and that kind of works with the movie.
Yeah.
She also mentioned Soul Food. Soul Food's a good soundtrack. I don't know whether or not it really sells the movie that much.
I mean, besides Mama and that Milestone song, I can't think of any of the music from Soul Food.
Yeah, and I can't see the marrying of the two like that. Yeah.
Waiting to Exhale is really good.
Waiting to Exhale is a good one. Hey, well, it's a little bit of a cheat too. The Bodyguard.
Yeah, but
but it does work.
The Bodyguard,
because that scene where she's at the club
is a contender with Purple Rain as far as soundtrack working in concert with
the film and like really driving that film.
The Bodyguard is a good one.
Jay Marie is mentioning Love Jones. That's definitely a soundtrack people love,
and it works with the film. Like, it really is
so much so that they got the poetry.
It's like
on the soundtrack.
Yeah, it's like the canvas. Yeah, that they use for the film. Okay, we should move. This is we should move forward. We got a lot to do tonight, and this is the type of thing.
Miss Makiba,
okay,
mentioned that on the Boomerang soundtrack is also "There You Go" by Johnny Gill. Also used well in the movie.
Yes. And I forgot that was on that soundtrack. Yeah.
All right.
We all right. We're not going to talk about music anymore.
Sean Simmons said, only one Tony Braxton song?
I know.
To which Jay Marie said, he tripping as usual.
I mean, look, I'll
You
take
tripping.
that.
You tripping.
As usual.
As usual.
I am in a perpetual state of tripping. It's a perpetual motion machine. Tripping.
We also heard from Anthony Sterling.
Hey, what's up, Anthony?
Greetings, you amazing men of me show. So I was binge listening to the podcast, and I think we can all agree Len has officially become the killer of childhood dreams.
I think you're going to be in the new Sandman series.
I think it just needs to be the new T-shirt. Me is like Freddy. He's just a killer of childhood dreams. And true habitual line crosser. The venom you spew against the Goonies and Grant Morrison is potent and unforgivable. Me and Vince was just going.
I was about to say,
Morrison.
I wasn't even going to say anything.
Just before
I'm not even going to say anything. I'm not going to point fingers, but somebody in here was just talking crazy about the Doom Patrol.
Somebody just saw another dream he's going to step on. Vince was not having it. But the reason for this email is to stand in agreement that Dolomite, Rudy Ray Moore, should wholeheartedly be in the sweetback badass universe Avengers. He's the Nick Fury of the team. Oh Lord, who my phone gave out on that one. He's the Nick Fury of the team who brings together some of the baddest mother lovers you've ever seen. And with his army of kung fu trained ladies, you basically have S.H.I.E.L.D. right there.
There you go. Joe Blow, the lover man, never had a chance.
Oh, and I highly suggest that Adolph Caesar, owner of the greatest movie trailer voice to ever be heard, that he be cast as the Watcher.
Yeah.
That's it. And that's all. Your friendly neighborhood super Negro, Anthony Sterling.
Yeah. And I'm always in agreement with anything that acknowledges Adolph Caesar.
Most definitely.
Adolph Caesar comes up in my house every morning because Adam likes to have a banana with his breakfast. Mm-hmm. So we'll tell him, go get something. And we always joke with each other, better not let Adolph Caesar see him. Because remember in Soldier Story, when he's talking about the GI in World War I, where they slit his throat behind the building. Mm-hmm. The Frenchies put a cape on him and pinned a tail to him and called him Moonshine, King of the Monkeys, and them Frenchies fed him bananas. Oh, they had a good time. And he said, and do you know that Negro had the nerve to ask what he had done wrong when we slit his throat? Actually, what he says is, when we slit his throat, do you know that Negro had the nerve to ask what he had done wrong? Because I love the way he says it. Mm-hmm. Because the throat slitting
came first.
Right. And that's not the part that why he's telling the story. He can't believe that the dude said, what did I do wrong?
And they weren't called the Frenchies.
The Frenchies. Frenchies. Fed him bananas. Called him King of the Moonshine, King of the Monkeys.
I can't even get my throat tight.
I know.
It hurts.
So now I'm scared to eat bananas. You have to eat them in secret. You don't want Adolph Caesar to find out.
Sean Simmons also repping another song.
Okay.
On the Boomerang soundtrack.
Pull us in. What song?
End of the Road.
Yeah.
Boomerang.
Oh no, Boomerang I think is a great soundtrack.
It's a contender,
I just hadn't really thought about it in concert with the film.
Yeah.
Like that. But yeah.
All right. So that was our listener mail.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. If you have email that you want to send us, please feel free to email us at the Micheaux Mission at gmail.com. That's MICHEAUX at gmail.com. Let's get into a little bit of news before we jump into some of our features here. And boy, this was a rough week, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
As we lost really four luminaries from just pop culture. We're going to talk about three of them today for a little bit. The first one that maybe is not germane to our world here in movies, but he is a larger than life figure, not only in the world of sports, but in the world of Black American civil rights, and just one of the most dignified men that I've ever had a privilege to just learn more about.
Yes,
I only wish that I could say I met him. And I don't care what anybody says. Your Tom Brady's, your Steph Curry's, and I'll say it right now, even your Muhammad Ali's. There was no bigger winner than Bill Russell historically of the Boston Celtics, who passed away this week at the age of 88 years young. The man won 8 consecutive NBA championships, 11 in all, was the coach for 2 of them, player coach for 2 of them. And that's
just crazy.
On top of his 2 collegiate NCAA championships. He was he was single-handedly the most important man on every one of those championship teams. He was the engine that made it run. Did he score more points than anybody else? No. Did he grab more rebounds than anybody else? Well, pretty much, to be honest. They weren't keeping the records at that time. If they kept records for block shots, he was blocking about 10 shots a game, altering another 20. He was leading the defense. He was the fulcrum on the offense. All this while leading a team that was embedded in one of the most racist cities in America.
Yes.
And a man who, while he was leading his team and his cities to, again, 8 consecutive championships, 11 in all, and over the span of 13 years. This is a man who dealt with insane prejudice and racial epithets and just all types of crazy stuff at home. This is a man who, after winning a game, goes home to find that people not only broke into his home and said, "Get out of here, nigger," they left excrement on his bed. And then he would, and this is at a time when, you talked about back in before segregation. This is before segregation. This is a man who couldn't stay in the hotels where his team was. You know what I mean? Yet this was a man who still rose above this. This was a man who walked with Martin Luther King. He was the man who walked with Malcolm X. He was the man who sat there with Muhammad Ali as he was going through his trials. This is a man who walked arm in arm with Jim Brown. This is the man who did not take any mess when he was a player, and even after he was a player. He was a man who NBA stars from as far and wide as the 60s, including his chief rival Wilt Chamberlain, my idol Julius Erving, some say the greatest basketball player of all time, Michael Jordan. Some people say the other greatest basketball player of all time, LeBron James, and countless superstars along those roads each and every one of them has a story about Bill Russell reaching out to them, or them reaching out to Bill Russell and him welcoming them at his feet and just sharing knowledge and being there for him. He was a phenomenal man, and I'm telling you, the world is lesser because he is no longer here.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't add anything to that. I will say, as someone who doesn't watch sports, he and Arthur Ashe really set the bar of what I expected from athletes, which is why I've always been sorely disappointed by most professional athletes.
Very true.
Muhammad Ali, I'll put him in there too, with the three of them. So
also we lost this week, and again, maybe doesn't fit our purview because this was not a black person, but it was a person that actually hit me, and this was the voice actor Pat Carroll, who passed away this week at the age of 95 years old. Acting in tons of TV specials. Historically was a cast member of the old Danny Thomas show. Which is the one that made her a star. But probably even our generation and generations after us more famously know her from her role as the voice of Ursula.
Yes.
In The Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, there may not be look, in the pantheon of screen villains, Ursula is top 10.
Ursula's fantastic.
She is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And especially when you hear the story that Pat Carroll, who was not a big name, not a big name at all, they wanted B. Arthur to do Ursula, or Bette Midler.
Yeah.
Bette Midler turned it down. B. Arthur couldn't carry the songs. Pat Carroll didn't think she could carry the songs, but she knew she could do the role.
Right.
And they gave her a scratch sample of the song, and she said, "Oh, I don't know if I could sang it, but I could do this." And then she wailed. She kills it. So much so that she is the voice in the movie. She's the voice in all the video games. They make sure that they still use her voice in, like, the Disney on Ice. Anytime they could get Pat Carroll to do the voice, she was the voice of Ursula, and she was fantastic.
Right. Another Titan.
Yep.
Another one of these Titans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of Titans,
boy, it's a shame. It's been a hard week.
It's a hard week.
It's been a hard week.
We also lost a Titans of 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s movies and television. Actress Mary Alice.
Yeah.
Mary Alice passed away. You might know her from Beat Street, To Sleep with Anger, Sparkle.
Yeah.
A Different World. There's certainly a generation that knows her from the Matrix Revolutions.
Right. She wasn't in Reloaded.
No, she wasn't in Reloaded.
So
she takes over the role.
She takes over in Revolutions.
Right.
Because Gloria Foster died. Yeah.
Gloria Foster had died. And I know you have spoken.
Yeah.
She's come up more than a few times here on the mission, and you're a fan.
Yeah. I think it's always tough when people pass that have been a part of this. And Mary Alice is certainly an actress that has been part of the fabric of our conversations. I mean, just right here in the description with Beat Street and To Sleep with Anger, two films that quality wise are really at, diametrically opposites of the poles.
Yeah.
But in each film, I love the grace that Mary Alice brings to the roles that she plays. I love the way that she elevates the scenes that she's in, and in both Beat Street, which, as we say, it's Beat Street, but there are scenes in Beat Street that she really just makes the roles complete. Like there's a scene where she's at breakfast with her two sons.
Mm-hmm.
There's the scene where she picks up her younger son who's been picked up for breakdancing. And again, it's elevation. To Sleep with Anger, the same thing. And now she's surrounded by acting giants.
Mm-hmm.
But she still has her own voice that she lends to this sort of blues song
Mm-hmm.
of a film, and she brings this almost fragility to it that really kind of enhances everything.
She does, and
even
in the fragility of it, like you mentioned, I think the one thing she does offer to Sleep with Anger is she's still very much the grounding person.
Yeah,
Grounding
yeah, absolutely. Different World. I was a huge fan of Letty on Different World, and the older I get, the closer I get to Letty's age than I do the student's age. I appreciate what she did and how she brought this guardianship of these younger actors, these younger players. It's funny. I was thinking about her role in Revolutions because she took over for Gloria Foster. And I was thinking about Gloria Foster because we're going to be talking about Ivan Dixon tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And Gloria Foster was so good in The Matrix Reloaded as the Oracle. And then she, her untimely passing, and Mary Alice had to step in. And the scene where she, explains in the Matrix parlor, why the Oracle looks different. And she talks about sometimes things don't happen how you want them to happen. And sometimes you have to make adjustments, and it's sad, but you have to, and I'm paraphrasing, but it's this beautiful scene in this third film of a trilogy that has gotten more and more sort of garbled. And I'm a fan of the Matrix trilogy, but certainly by Revolutions, it was like, okay, it's like this beautiful little moment. And that's what I think about with Mary Alice. Like whether it's the things that you've named, whether it's, the episode of Good Times where she was going to put her baby up for adoption.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Mary Alice always created this space of grace. And it doesn't seem right that Mary Alice isn't around, and it doesn't seem right that moving forward, as we talk about Mary Alice, because once again, she's part of the tapestry of this show that we'll be talking about her in past tense.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And
then there's the big one.
And then there is Nichelle Nichols.
Yeah.
Passed away at the age of 89 years old. Nichelle Nichols, famously of Star Trek fame as Lieutenant Nyota Uhura. Also instrumental in steering women, of all colors, shapes, and sizes into the world of STEM, and especially into the space program at NASA.
I was about to say specifically NASA, yeah.
As documented in a great documentary, Women in Motion. And, just one badass chick named Dorinda in a movie called Truck Turner.
Oh, Dorinda.
Nichelle Nichols, who, and look, I'm going to put it out there, as much as she was a trailblazer for Black women on television, Black women in film, Black women in the world of STEM, for Black people in the world of sci-fi, making us believe that we have a place in the future. We have a place in this space. We have a place in this genre. She wore that badge of honor with grace and dignity, as she did with everything throughout her life. I will also say, unabashedly, that from the time that she first appears on screen until her last appearance on screen, that Nichelle Nichols was easily one of the most beautiful women to ever step in front of the camera.
Absolutely.
And it I've mentioned it before that, as much as I enjoy doing this thing with you, and as much as I enjoyed my time in podcasting back with the Black Tribbles and everything that I've done, the highlight of my radio and podcasting career was and will continue to be the 1 hour of time that I sat down with Nichelle Nichols and we just had a conversation about her career, about Truck Turner, about her being cast in Truck Turner. She had stories about Count Basie. She had some stories about Count Basie that didn't make the interview.
I'm sure, yeah.
She had some commentary about Star Trek that didn't make the interview.
I'm sure it didn't.
She had some very touching and thoughtful words about at that time the recently departed Leonard Nimoy that she shared with me, and it was the highlight of my career, and I would cherish that moment forever. I think she was just a beautiful soul, and I'll miss her.
Yeah, I think at this point, everyone knows the story of Nichelle Nichols wanting to leave Star Trek and after the first season, and then having a conversation with Dr. Martin Luther King about her importance in staying on. And I will just say this, and what I'm alluding to is all sort of public record. She had good reasons
to want to
leave. And for her to stay, and then when you go back and you actually watch the episodes, because you know us, like there are the legends and there's the acclaim and there's the accolades, but you and me, like, we like to go to the text. It is so impressive, the work that she was able to do as Uhura on those 3 seasons. We call it an ensemble, but not to get too much in the woods, it really wasn't an ensemble. Like, it really was the William Shatner, Leonard Nimoy show with a little DeForest Kelly in there. And everybody else can sort of got in where they could fit in. But you look at the space that Nichelle Nichols, through her beauty, yes, but also through her intelligence, through her acting, through her, this dancer's grace that she brought to her physical performance. And it's so impressive that she was able to make such an impression outside of just the absolutely important symbolism and of the representation. So much so that the part that I actually love the most about Uhura is how Nichelle Nichols embodied all of these characteristics outside of the show. So that, as you've mentioned, very instrumental in bringing women, in bringing minorities into the STEM fields, not just as a symbol, but actually had a role, a formal role with NASA.
Rolled up her sleeve. She was doing the work
for outreach and for years did that.
Not just a figurehead at all.
The way that we have embraced her and built out her character as years have gone by. If you don't know, Nyota was never used in the original series. We all built that in. The fact that even in the Kelvin universe, someone picked up the relationship or the chemistry between Nichols and Leonard Nimoy, and then they had the sort of relationship.
And that rebooted
the rebooted series. I just saw yesterday.
As far as just to make sure people understand, in the rebooted movie franchise,
Right,
Spock and Uhura had like
a relationship. But when Uhura is now played by Zoe Saldana.
Right.
I just saw yesterday. Apparently, there's an Easter egg in the finale of Picard from this season, where there's a plaque that shows that she eventually was a captain.
Oh, really?
That Uhura was a captain. And I love how organically that character has grown in stature. We talk about this in the Truck Turner episode. We talk about the image and the importance of Uhura. And I'll just say this on a personal note for me and you, when we talk about Uhura. Talk about, Star Trek goes off 69, movie comes out 79. You have this 10-year period. You got a year with the cartoon. There's some books here and there. There are those weird gold key comics. But for 10 years, it really was the fans
keeping it alive
who kept Star Trek alive. And there was a whole wing of fandom around Uhura.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that wing were Black people and Black girls and Black women. And I always like to talk about how important Nichelle Nichols was, as we are in this moment where we talk about blurs and we talk about, opening up pop culture and nerddom. And I think ground zero for blurs was that Uhura fandom. Certainly there were Black nerds before Star Trek, absolutely. But a space where you could talk to each other. A space where again, there was this sort of formal acknowledgement. Mm-hmm. And once again, this is someone who will be missed so much.
Oh yeah.
And not for nothing, I like that I've seen a fair amount of people talking about Truck Turner. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because she was proud of Truck Turner.
Rightfully so.
And she was proud of the fact that she had this role, and we talk about it in the review, actually. She had this role that spoke to Black women. Mm-hmm. And she talked about being on the street, and if 10 people come up to her, 9 people would say Uhura, but then a sister would say Dorinda, and how special that was to her. Mm-hmm. So I love that. I love so much about her, and yeah, it's the world's not quite as bright as it used to be with her gone. It really isn't. So.
I know. We actually, if you're listening to our show on, listening to the podcast, check our feed, ladies and gentlemen, because we posted this weekend a Remembering Nichelle Nichols special where we actually took our review from Truck Turner and put that together with my interview from 2015 with Nichelle Nichols, and put that out as a special for you to listen to, so you can really hear us talk about and share our feelings about Nichelle Nichols there as well. So check that out.
Yeah.
Aaron Fry, because the people on the chat, they're definitely they're chatty. They are mentioning in regards to Catrice Greer, in regards to Pat Carroll, the voice of Ursula. Yes, that voice, Ursula. She was an unforgettable character and voice. Very true. Farrell Blackwell was not aware that Mary Alice had passed, so this was actually hitting him fresh. Jay Marie mentions in regards to Mary Alice that I love Mary Alice's speaking voice. It was very soothing. And I will say that it was soothing as well. Jay Marie also mentions that this past week we lost Paul Sorvino, of famously, of many things.
Right.
But some people probably know him from Goodfellas.
Yeah.
And he actually, I think, with only one season on Law and Order,
right,
as well. And Tony Sirico, Paulie Walnuts from The Sopranos, actually passed earlier in the month.
And give you this money, but now I have to turn my back on you.
Yeah. Good scene. Aaron Fry is asking, will somebody please look in on James Earl Jones?
Look, man, don't even speak it into the universe.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a yeah.
Don't do that. Don't do that. So it's been a rough week. And I actually, the one thing that I will say again in regards to all of them, and especially these three women, because I think that Bill Russell in the world of sports has gotten his flowers and is certainly going to get his flowers.
Mm-hmm.
But it's fair to say, I think, that Mary Alice and Pat Carroll were not considered like A-list celebrities,
right?
And Nichelle Nichols, our love of her notwithstanding, it would be very easy for some people to be kind of like maybe try to be dismissive of her because like, oh, she was in that Star Trek thing,
right?
But I think it is actually heartwarming that all of these women are getting so many flowers right now. So much is being spoken about and people sharing deep, heartfelt feelings about all of them passing. That actually does, my heart pretty good.
Well, I think people are finding out what both of us knew, and you knew firsthand. I love all of the interviews floating around with Nichelle Nichols.
Yeah.
Because she was delightful.
She was great.
She was like I almost wish someone had gotten, like, how Fat Joe tells stories.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wish someone had done a podcast with Nichelle Nichols just telling stories and talking.
Well,
I'm
not going to. Yeah. I do wish that had happened. I do wish that had happened. Yeah, she was. And what I like about her, especially, was if we just continue on about Nichelle Nichols. It's Nichelle Nichols.
Look,
what
man.
the hell? What I like about her, like, what made her so refreshing is that she was at the point, she was gracious, she was classy, but she also had no more F's in the quiver.
Look, man.
She ain't had none.
Look.
She didn't care. She was like, yo, I'm going to tell her like it is.
Yeah.
God bless her.
God bless her.
All right.
God bless her.
Let's move on.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, that went on a little bit, and because we knew we're not going to do a top 5 tonight, but we do have 6 degrees of Derville Martin.
Oh boy.
Six degrees of Derville Martin, ladies and gentlemen, where Vincent will try to get from 70s action romantic lead Derville Martin,
yes,
to an actor of my choice. Now, previously on the Michelle Mission.
Who you got for me, Len? Who you got for me today, Len?
Vincent was oh man, he was fit to be tied.
Who you got for me, Len? You and me?
I was picking random white actors from pre-segregation era Hollywood who
were big on television. You gonna ask me about the professor from Gilligan's Island?
No, I am not going to pull the first Russell Wilson. I believe his name was Russell Wilson, actually.
Who? The professor?
Yeah. I think it was Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was Russell something.
I just because he wasn't even in the credits in the well, I guess he was in the credits.
In the
they
second
just
season.
changed the song
In the second season.
right because he was part of And All the Rest
in the beginning.
in the beginning.
In the beginning. But then, you know, the Professor and Marianne.
I was like, Professor
Yeah,
and Marianne's agents were terrible. How they get relegated to And All the Rest?
Well, all their agents weren't that great. But anyway.
Yeah, how about that?
Okay.
Let's stay on task.
All right. So Vincent was upset at my selections. So
Oh boy.
I have chosen.
Uh-huh. What we got? Go ahead. Come on. Let's go.
All
Come
right.
on.
Do you want this or do you want that?
Obviously, I'm going to start with this
All right. We're going to start with this.
because this is where it's at.
Vince, go from Derville Martin,
Derville
6
Martin.
movies or less.
6 movies or less to
Dennis Haysbert.
Dennis Haysbert.
Yes.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. A man known for television, but he has a filmography.
He's in 1 or 2 films.
Mm-hmm.
He is in 1 or 2
Well,
films.
he's more than 1 or 2.
1 or 2. He's in more than 1 or 2. I'll always know him affectionately as fictional Black president. Remember, he played the president on 24.
Yes.
And I used to call him Black President. And then Barack Obama got elected and he got relegated to fictional Black President.
You know, I'd never watched 24.
First 2 seasons are really good.
My best friend loves
Yeah,
24.
yeah,
It was plenty
yeah.
of television for him.
All right, but to get to Dennis Haysbert, how do I want to do Dennis Haysbert? Okay. We've been talking, so we'll get to him fast. Derville Martin is in 5 on the Black Hand side with Dick Anthony Williams,
Mm-hmm.
who is in Mo Better Blues with Wesley Snipes, who's in Major League with Dennis Haysbert.
I didn't know if you want to pull Major League because it's a sports movie.
Right. You thought I was going to go to Wait Until Exhale or Love and Basketball.
I didn't know where you were going to go, but I didn't think you were going to pull Major
You
League.
didn't think I was going to pull Major League,
I didn't think you were going to pull.
where he played a Dominican baseball player.
He did.
A little racist, maybe?
A tad.
It's a little
A
racist.
tad.
It's a sprinkle of racism.
Yes. Well, more than sprinkle because he returned for the 2 sequels. But
Was he in Major League
he was
2?
in Major League 2 and 3.
I don't know if I knew there was a Major League 3 before this exact second.
Yes.
Did they go to space?
Well, it's actually not Major League 3. It's called Major League Back to the Minors.
I do remember that. Were all of the was Charlie Sheen in that?
That I'm not sure of. I think he may have left. I don't think Wesley Snipes was in that one.
Willie Mays Hayes.
Major League Back to the Minors. No. That one stars Corbin Burson returned and Scott Bakula is the big name.
That's before Scott Bakula got on one of them CBS shows.
Well, Scott Bakula was always like, as much as you want to like knight Scott Bakula, and I like Scott Bakula, he always was a journeyman.
Yeah.
He was always a journeyman.
I mean, he was built to be the lead on one of them CBS shows. Like he needed to wait until he was like 60.
I mean, but he was already a star from It's not Sliders.
I won't call it Tom Tunnel.
Okay, it's not Time Tunnel. It was
But it's actually Quantum Leap.
Quantum Leap.
Yeah.
Quantum Leap. So he was already like a syndicated star.
He was.
You
Quantum
know?
Leap is a good show.
You know what show he was in that I actually enjoyed that didn't make it?
What?
Men of a Certain Age.
I love
ever-
Men of a Certain
Did
Age.
you see that? With
Yeah.
him and
I mean, it
Andre
was over
Braugher.
like 3 years.
Oh, did it last 3 years?
I don't think anyone, I think me, you, Wendy, and my brother-in-law were the only 4 people on earth who watch Men of a Certain Age.
You know what it was? When it started, I was working a certain job, working a certain schedule where I could catch it. And then my job changed and I couldn't catch it.
You couldn't catch it
And this
anymore.
was before, like,
right.
like streaming and stuff
Right.
like that.
It was,
But that was a really good show.
I really liked Men of a Certain Age.
I like that. All right.
All right.
So you did Dennis Haysbert.
There
Quick.
you go.
All right. So now it's time for that.
And hopefully I did it in a way that was unexpected. So what's that?
That
Oh boy, who got this? I now feel like
get from Derville Martin in 6 movies or less.
Lower my guard, and now who's it gonna be? Rothschild Hitherson.
Rihanna.
Rihanna.
Yes, famously known for her music career, but she does have an acting career. She does have a filmography.
Has she? Okay, so I know she was in what's it called, like Home?
Which I saw 1,800 times.
I should like Home because Home is surprisingly dark once you get past the cute aliens.
Yeah, it's sweet, but when you see it 1,800 times, it
was Rihanna in something besides Home?
Yes.
As an actress?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm not
a hit movie.
Oh, wait. Is that Rihanna in that Transformers movie, that one, a Transformers movie?
That's not even the one I was thinking about. I'm not seeing a Transformers movie on her filmography.
No, it's not. It's like Battleship.
She is in Battleship.
Okay, so who else was in Battleship? Because I'm trying to think who played her mother in Home. Is she also in? Wait, she's in an Ocean's 11 thing.
Is she?
Ocean's 8.
Yes, she's in Ocean's 8.
Okay, well, that's the target-rich environment. I'm trying to think who all is in Ocean's 8. The lead is that Sandra Bullock?
I think so.
Is Sandra Bullock in Ocean's 8? Sandra Bullock is in Ocean's 8.
I'm going to tell you, yes, she's in.
All right, let's have fun. Derville Martin is in Dolomite with Rudy Ray Moore. Rudy Ray Moore is in Penitentiary 2 with Mr. T.
Okay.
Mr. T is in Rocky 3 with Sylvester Stallone. Sylvester Stallone is in Demolition Man with Sandra Bullock, who's in Ocean's 8 with Rihanna.
Okay. All right. Very good. Very good.
Anytime I get to talk about Mr. T in Penitentiary 2, where he has on a genie outfit, that's a good time.
You're right.
Am I good?
No.
Who'd I mess up?
Give me the connections again.
Rudy Ray Moore in Penitentiary 2 with Mr. T. Mr. T is in Rocky 3 with Sylvester Stallone. Sylvester Stallone is in Demolition Man with Sandra Bullock, who's in Ocean's 8 with Rihanna.
I'm not seeing Rudy Ray Moore in Penitentiary 2.
Rudy Ray Moore is absolutely in Penitentiary 2 because remember when he goes train, it's a cameo. And he runs past and Rudy Ray Moore comes out the door. And it says, something. Rudy Ray Moore stuff. Rudy Ray Moore is absolutely in Penitentiary 2.
Okay. I seem to remember that scene.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. So, you know what? I'm going to ask the chat. Here's the thing. He's not listed in the cast list. So, does that count if he's not listed in the cast? It's uncredited.
Okay.
Like, I would say that would
No. We good. Derville Martin is in Hitman with Bernie Casey.
Okay.
Bernie Casey is in Cornbread Earl and Me with Lawrence Fishburne. Lawrence Fishburne is in all the Matrixes with how I just forget his name. Whoa.
Who?
The dude who stars in the Matrix. I just forget his name.
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves, who's in Speed with Sandra Bullock.
Who
is in Ocean's 8 with Rihanna.
Okay. All right.
There you go.
There you go. You got there. All right.
How they on list Rudy Ray Moore in Penitentiary 2? He the greatest part of the well, okay, he's not the greatest part. Ernie Hudson in the rainbow afro wig is probably and Mr.
Part.
T in the genie outfit is also pretty good.
Yeah.
But he's very much in Penitentiary 2.
Yeah, well, he's uncredited.
He
did not want his name on Penitentiary.
Because they're insecure, rat soup eating, no business having mother you know what's
either that or the check didn't clear.
From him. Oh, from him or from them?
From them.
Them, that's right. They that's a shame.
Yeah, no.
All
right. Good job, though, Vince.
There you go.
Good job. All right.
And look at you using the blacks. You used 2 blacks.
Let's get into our review of
it was
Car
black.
Let's get into our review of Car Wash. But first, it's time for trailer talk.
All right.
I'm going to tell you why I laughed so hard about that part when you said the blacks. I went out this past weekend with a bunch of friends of mine, a few dudes, and one of them is a white guy. Not going to say his name.
Okay. Is it Earl?
Let's call him Earl.
Okay.
And he dates a black woman.
Okay.
Specifically a Caribbean woman. She's,
okay.
I think Dominican Republic. No, Jamaican.
Okay.
Jamaican. And so he's telling us a story about how because we made a joke about like, because we all went out to just bust a grub, and he was dressed, he had on like this Hawaiian shirt over a tank top, little like hat, and his lady had given him all these beads and stuff, and it's like, dude, you look like a cop.
I'm glad you said it, because that's what I was thinking. He sounds like he looks like a cop.
He looks like a cop, right?
Hello, citizens. Where may I purchase some drugs?
So we went out, and he's telling us this story about he was at some store, and he's talking about, like, you know, how, you know, the lady seemed to like it. You know, I had this one lady who and he doesn't say that she's Caribbean, but she said that she's black.
Okay.
And he says, I had this one black lady who came up to me in the store, and she like seemed to like my shirt, and he said, oh, that makes sense. I have one of you at home.
Oh my God.
We all made that same face. Like, what you say?
Y'all need to check on his girlfriend.
At which point he says, yeah, because she was a Caribbean lady, and I was saying that I have a Caribbean woman at home. It was like, dude, you don't say you have one of you. I said, like, dude.
Are these other serial killers? Were you having a serial killer's convention?
No. But we're like, dude, like, we had to check him.
Yes.
Like, dude, man, like, yo, you can't looking like you do. You can't say that, man. I have one of you at home. I'm like, well, she seemed to like it. I was like, no.
Yeah, that's no good.
I was like, dude, yo, we checked him for like about an hour.
Well, good.
And honestly, I don't know if it permeated.
Well, look, you did what you were supposed to do. That's all you can do.
She was like, dude, it's just straight wrong. Oh God. Anyway. And you said that. That just,
Well, the brothers in Derville Martin, we had two of them. You can tell them that we had two of them on 6 Degrees of Derville Martin this evening. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, two of our own.
Two of our own. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Let's get into our review.
All right.
Unless you had something else you wanted to share.
No, I think you've said quite enough.
I can't imagine there's anything else to share. All right. Car Wash, a 1976 American comedy film directed by Michael Schultz from a screenplay by Joel Schumacher. The film stars Franklin Ajaye, Bill Duke, Ivan Dixon, Sully Boyer, and Richard Pryor, as well as blink and you might miss it, Professor Irwin Corey, and writer of his own dialogue, George Carlin.
Yeah.
The film is a comedic take on the daily life of car wash employees, chronicling their hopes, their fears, their joys, their dreams, and their tribulations, and meeting some eccentric customers along the way. In this film from 1976, that was Vincent's selection for this stop on the Michaud mission. Vincent, what say you of Car Wash?
I think Car Wash is a film that even if you've never seen Car Wash, you've absolutely seen Car Wash. Because Car Wash is really more of, as the kids say, a vibe than a film. It really is about capturing the spirit and the energy of this moment. As you said, the plot, and I use that term very loosely, is a day at a car wash. And you have all of these various and sundry players at the car wash. And I think the most important thing about the actors that portray these employees is that the vast majority of them are actors that you've seen all over the place. You know, maybe the biggest, who's not one of the big ones, Franklin Ajaye. Franklin Ajaye was already a pretty well established comedian at this point. Very personable, very, very much somebody who you see pop up throughout the 70s. Antonio Vargas, iconic in 70s films, and he plays against type a bit. You know, he plays a gay man who wears makeup, and if there is someone, if there are characters that you can peel off and talk about, I think Antonio Vargas's Lindy is very much one who's pretty interesting. Clarence Muse is someone that you've seen pop up. Daryl Igus is someone that you've seen pop up. One of our favorites, Leonard Jackson, here as Earl, who is basically the foreman of the car wash. And how do you know? Because he's the N-word that doesn't get wet.
That's right.
As he says. Garrett Morse is around. And then you have the two big stars. You have George Carlin, and as you said, George Carlin wrote his own dialogue, which you can absolutely tell because George Carlin has a brilliant George Carlin kind of stream of consciousness throughout the film, where he's just kind of riffing, and you can tell that this is George Carlin riffing. As big as he is on the poster, as much as he is in the advertising and the publicity, you would think Richard Pryor was one of the stars of this film. Richard Pryor has one scene as the preacher, Daddy Rich, with the Pointer Sisters as his kind of backup.
That's right.
And his muses. And it's one scene, but it's a fantastic scene. I mean, it's absolutely the scene that justifiably everyone points to.
Mm-hmm.
And as it's the scene that everyone points to, but it is one scene. And more than a movie, this is a film that is almost a series of vignettes.
Yep.
And their adventures, and there's a moment where it's a little kid throwing up. It's a moment where a family comes in and they have a dog in the car. There's a moment that you talked about, Blink, if you missed him talking about people that are kind of iconic stand-up comics. Professor Irwin Curry has a urine sample. And if you don't like any of these scenes, it's okay. It's going to be over in 90 seconds.
That's right.
And then they're going to do it again. So that it's just a vibe. It's very energetic. It's very musical. It's very kinetic. And when you hear Michael Schultz talk about this film, and he talks about he wanted to capture this energy, but he also says he wanted to add some heft to it a little bit. And that's where you bring in the two players who, frankly, don't really fit with the rest of the film. And that would be Bill Duke.
Mm-hmm.
In an early, is this his first film?
This is like his big debut.
Yeah. Bill Duke as Abdullah,
mm-hmm.
the radical who's just out of prison, and he's changed his name, and he is tormented by society and by everything that seems to be against him. And then playing against him it seems weird to call him the great Ivan Dixon, but we love Ivan Dixon. We love Ivan, best known for being in Hogan's Heroes, here on the Michelle Mission, the star of our beloved Nothing But a Man.
Yeah.
Ivan Dixon plays Lonnie, who is the elder statesman, and looks like he ate Ivan Dixon. Like Ivan Dixon looks like he put on maybe 10, 15 pounds of muscle to play this kind of gruff ex-con.
Right. That's the key point. Ex-con.
Yeah. And he looks it.
Yeah.
Like he looks like that guy. I was in prison 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it flows and it moves and it pops and it's kinetic. And it's hard to pin something down to say, okay, well, let's talk about this critically. Like I said, I think I understand Michael Schultz's instinct to try and get some messaging in here, to have some medicine that the sugar can help go down, because there's so much sugar.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how much it was needed. There is one of the through lines, if you will, is there's Marlene, played by Loren Jones, who was Michael Schultz's real life wife, and she plays maybe a prostitute. I think it's heavily implied, but you never actually see her engage in sex work.
Yes, you do.
Well, I don't think Hippo pays her. Look, I was looking. There is never an exchange.
Okay, there's no exchange of money, but he clearly asks her how much, and she flashes how much, and he says, "Come on."
Okay, all right, that's fair. Then that's fair. Maybe I missed that, but she's just sort of forlorn, and she's looking for this man. And it all kind of culminates in a film that is so kind of bubbly and popcorn and bright. This really kind of melancholy ending where Ivan Dixon's character has to talk Bill Duke's character out of robbing the car wash, and you get this scene between them that is like it's like they're in acting school, and this is a scene they have to act out,
right? Doesn't it?
And it's like nighttime, and then Marlene's character has been stuck at the car wash all day, and you think at some point maybe she'll get to leave the car wash. But then the camera pulls out in the darkness where Ivan Dixon is hugging a sobbing Bill Duke's Abdullah. and you see Marlene still at the car wash, and then that's the end of the film.
I know.
But wait, now we have credits, and we're back to car wash, and we introduce everybody. So that I like car wash, but it's like saying I like bubble gum.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like water ice. You know, it's very light. It's very frothy. Again, I think it captures the energy of the 70s. And I think, again, it's a film that even if you haven't seen it, you've absolutely seen Car Wash.
See, you made a really good analogy right there. You stepped on it a little bit when you went to water ice, but I think bubble gum or chewing gum is apt, because chewing gum, when you first pop it into your mouth, or even bubble gum, it's that immediate burst of the flavor that you were expecting, that you are enjoying, and that you're having fun with. You know, you're enjoying the flavor of it. You're enjoying the chewing, because the chewing can become an art of itself, because you're popping, you know, you're blowing bubbles, you know, and you're just having a good time with the gum. And then as the gum, you keep chewing, now soon enough the gum becomes just a suppressor for hungry, because now you're thinking you want really some food, but the gum still has enough flavor that you remember what it was like in the beginning. So you're still chewing it, and you're like, So now it's in your groove. So now the chewing the gum is part of the rhythm of whatever you're doing. Whether or not, if you're working, if you're just chilling, gum is just like in time with you now. It's almost like your heartbeat. And then you get to the point where you're feeling like you're done with the gum. You taste, you know, remembrances of the flavor that once was. So you're like, does it maybe still have a couple more chews in it? I don't know. And it's like, I hate to say it, now I just need some place to put the gum because I'm done with it.
Okay.
And that's when this movie reaches the end, because it's like, oh, we've got Marlene on the bench, and we've kind of set the audience up that there's a bit of this conflict with Abdullah and Lonnie, and you know, their points of view, world points of view. There's got to be some butting of the heads there. Yeah, we've kind of tied that up too, and we don't want to go to the next day, because this is supposed to be a day,
right?
And we're filming this in the day, and we've lost the light.
Yes,
so,
yes, it is dark.
So how about this? You guys hug. Marlene, you stay there.
Oh.
And then we'll pull back. And the emotion of this tapestry will sweep over the film, thus creating a conclusion.
Yes.
And then we'll fade to the credits.
Right.
And that's exactly what they did.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because it was time to dispense with the chewing gum that we called Car Wash.
Yeah, yeah.
Because Car Wash, like you say, you like Car Wash. It's fun. It does have an energy to it. I contend that the energy could have been stepped up a little bit. I don't know if that's necessarily a failing of the script, the direction, or the acting, or all three involved. I tend to think it is a marriage of all three. I think that is the kind of, you know, wanting it to be a little bit more kinetic. You know, you're waiting for that pop is the reason why, one, I think Antonio Vargas, playing against type, but definitely the best actor in this movie, pops in the film like he does, especially in a role that could have very easily been stereotypical.
Yeah.
Yeah. And while there is a bit of the stereotype to him, the one thing I was immediately locked in on is that despite a few jokes that come his way, and most of them only from one or two people, everybody in the car wash and everybody that comes across him is 100% accepting of who he is.
Yes, he is part of
He
the
is
group.
part of the group.
He very much is.
And he holds his own. There's no demeaning of him at all. And even when there is an attempt to demean him, he holds his own and puts people in their place, and they stay in their place.
It's
you know,
maybe,
and it's not even with any rancor.
Yeah.
It's just like, just a quick check, and people are like, yeah, you're right, because
it might be the best line in the film.
Yeah.
When he says to Abdullah, I'm more man than you'll ever be, and I'm more woman than you'll ever get.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love that performance, you know. And I think, well, let's put it this way. I want to believe a lot of that is Antonio Vargas, because Antonio Vargas, who we know, in this time, is an actor of note, an actor who finds a way to take whatever role he's given and do something to make him stand out.
Yeah.
And make it more. And I want to believe that this was him taking what easily could have been just this fluff role, stereotypical, and in the hijinks of the film, he could have gotten it over that way, but makes it that much more.
Yeah.
So, and that's why he pops. And that's another reason why the most famous scene from this movie is the Richard Pryor scene that pops, because one, it's Richard Pryor, and two, as Richard Pryor has admitted, he's coked out of his brains when he does the role.
He's really good in that scene.
Well, because he's really flying high.
Yeah.
And when he is in that scene, it you can see why all of a sudden all eyes are on him, and it's popping because the energy is there.
Yeah.
It's there. And it doesn't hurt that he also has his he's got his Greek chorus in the Pointer Sisters, right there with him as well, in all their resplendentness as well. So, but you still don't mind, because like you said, it's not really about the comedy, because the movie is fun,
right?
But it's not crazy funny.
But it's not really that funny,
right?
That's 100% true.
But it's really about the vibe. It's about the rhythm that they create, and because of that, this is, you said bubblegum, well, even more so than bubblegum. This is exactly what this portrays. The film is set on a Friday at this car wash because it's payday.
Yes.
But what the film is Saturday afternoon at the movies.
Yeah.
This is Saturday afternoon at the movies, and especially at this time, this was the movie that would precede the action movie that you went to the theater to see, to get you settled into the vibe, you get into the rhythm of it with your popcorn, because they didn't have pretzel bites in the 70s, and you were just sitting there and then just enjoying the vibe, enjoying spending time with these guys. Not all of the guys, because the ensemble, to be fair, is so large that a lot of them really don't get their due. Don't get their moments to shine. So everybody just has like a moment or two, like, because you got the two dancers, and like they're like, whatever. You didn't even mention her,
Tracy Reed.
Well, Tracy Reed as Mona is cool, but I wasn't even thinking about Tracy Reed. I'm thinking of Ren Woods. Shows up as Loretta. And small role, very small role. But if you're a fan of 70s movies and even more 70s television, it's a face a face you trust. And because of that, you immediately are there with her character. You already know this character.
Right. Well, what I really remember her from. You remember, She's the one that thought JJ gave her VD.
Yes.
I got VDJJ, and you the one that gave it to me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, definitely a fixture.
So you got her doing good work. So it really is about this vibe. You talk about George Carlin writing his own. He does have that stream of consciousness at the beginning of the movie, and then for the rest of the movie, he pretty much is repeating the other line that he wrote. Have you seen the tall blonde?
Yeah,
black blonde. But it really is just about the vibe.
Yeah,
there's no real story there, and either you lock in with the vibe or you don't. And I'll be totally honest, I've seen this movie more than a few times. I probably have seen it maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I was prepared to come in here and be like, you know what, I don't really know how much I really ride with Car Wash, but watching it again, it took me back to a Saturday afternoon, and that's what it was. And it's just a fun movie. Yeah. And I enjoyed it.
It's funny. You talked about the kineticism doesn't quite stick.
Mm-hmm.
And what it made me think, what I always kind of compare this to is Uptown Saturday Night.
Yep.
Which is the same type of thing. But I think there's a wonderful sharpness to Uptown Saturday Night, because I think you have so many actual actors in Uptown Saturday Night.
Yeah.
And so you have that, like it really is like bam, you hit it scene after scene after scene.
But also Uptown Saturday Night, excuse me for breaking in, is because yes, you have those actors, but they each have room to build their characters.
Yeah.
There's almost 12 guys at the car wash.
Yeah.
And that's not even counting the owner, the chick at the register.
Yeah.
The son.
Yeah.
And the sundry characters that drive into the car wash.
Like you're talking about Ren Woods. She shows up at the beginning, and then you don't see her for almost an hour.
Right.
And so like you said, everybody is sort of packed in.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's Car Wash. It's fun. I think it is a film. It is one of the reasons that I love Michael Schultz.
Yeah.
Like when I think about Michael Schultz's films.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think this is one that definitely stands out.
It does. And we'll be revisiting Michael Schultz later this year, much to the joy of the Nichelle mission. Later this month, actually. Much to the joy of more than a few of the missionaries out there, as they will learn in the weeks to come. The other thing, all that being said,
mm-hmm.
the other reason why this movie works as a vibe and works as a Saturday afternoon, and we were talking about this in the beginning of the show.
Yes, we were.
Soundtracks.
Yeah.
And this soundtrack, produced by Norman Whitfield.
Yes.
Featuring
Rolls Royce.
And this is the soundtrack and the album that put that group on the top of the mountain.
Right. Norman Whitfield's brainchild.
Yes.
Yeah. After he had left Motown.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And this, like, the hits from this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Never mind the title song, Car Wash,
mm-hmm.
which is just as it's like an earbud that will stay with you and you will enjoy it buzzing around in your head. But not only that, you've got I Want to Get Next to You and I'm Going Down, two of the eternal slow jams of all time.
Yeah, just great songs.
Yes.
Yeah.
And used to good effect in the movie.
Yes. Oh yeah.
And helps create that vibe, helps create that the world.
Well, that's appropriate because they actually did the music first,
which was fantastic
before the movie.
Yes.
So in a lot of ways, Michael Schultz was able to shape some of the scenes around the music.
Right. Because they they wrote the movie and they invited Norman Whitfield down there to like to check out the scenes and everything like that. So he was able to get into the vibe. And they said because they wanted them, because this was filmed at an actual car wash over the course, I think, of like 2-3 days.
I was about to say not long.
Yeah. And they wanted the guys to be bopping and dancing to the actual music that was going to be on the soundtrack, which I think was actually another smart move.
Yeah. Although I have to say, they say in car wash, it's better than digging a ditch. I think it depends on the weather. I don't know if working at the car wash is better than digging a ditch if the weather is bad.
No.
Car wash in December is terrible.
Well, most car washes aren't. A lot of them aren't open in December. Some of them are.
Right.
Some of them aren't open. No, I'll take car wash. I'll take car washing over digging a ditch any day.
I need the weather.
When's the last time you dug a ditch?
When's the last time I worked at a car wash? We just talking.
Okay. All right. Which do you want to do? Which do you want
today?
Like yeah.
I want to work the car wash. But come back to me in November.
In November, you don't want to be digging. You know how digging a ditch, cold ground, you got to break the cold ground.
That is true. Then there's the cold ground. Maybe it is better than digging a ditch.
Because in the car wash in November, the ones that are open, you can be inside with the hot, the steam.
It's steam. So Rolls Royce was right all along.
Yes.
I might
never doubt Rolls Royce.
I might not ever get rich, but it is better than digging a ditch.
Amen. Aaron Fry points out that no, that was Tanisha who gave JJ VD because I had a crush on her back in the day. I kind of thought that was Ren Woods.
I'm pretty sure that's Ren Woods. You know, hey, this is the type of thing we stop everything.
Well, yeah. We're ahead of the game now, so we can stop.
Right.
Are you looking up?
I'm right there.
Vince is looking it up, so we're going to figure this out.
That's interesting. He may. I don't see it.
You could probably look up the actual episode.
I mean, she was on What's Happening. Am I mixing her up?
She was on it. Was she on? I mean,
right. Remember, she had the ex who wanted to fight Dwayne.
Oh, I mean, she was.
Boy, I hope the FBI didn't look at my searches. JJ gets VD.
Yeah, she wasn't on the episode of Good Times. You're right. I'm looking here. She was Brenda on What's Happening. Yeah, because Brenda.
Right. Because he was right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see who the cast was in the episode. He is right.
Who was it?
It is Tanisha. He is 100% right, and we are 100% wrong.
Wait a minute, Tanisha. I mean, is that the actress?
Her name is Tata Nisha.
What? Tata Nisha.
Whoa,
now I gotta look this up.
Yeah,
I've never heard of an actress named Tata.
I've been thinking it was the woman in Car Wash. Let's see what she looks like. Yeah, that's her. It looks like her. They look a little bit alike, but that's definitely a different. Yeah, that's her.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
that's her name. Tanisha.
Tanisha.
Wow.
Tanisha.
Wow, Vince.
She thought that JJ had given her video because remember it came on and they had the parental guidance, little joint. Like this episode deals with mature subject matter. Parental guidance is suggested.
Gee, whiz.
Yup, she's little Marianne, but come to find out that her boyfriend, the quarterback, had given it to her.
Wow.
And Jay Leno's on that episode because he too has VD.
Now, to be fair, I'm looking at her full credits. She was also on What's Happening.
She was all who? Rhett Woods or Tatanisha?
Tatanisha.
She was also on What's Happening.
She was on What's Happening in season 1. She played Patrice Williams. She was also played. Guess who she played, Vincent?
Who?
She was Janet in Sanford and Son. In season 5, in 2 episodes.
Before what's her name played her?
Well,
because the actress who's in Ganja and Hess played Janet.
Season 5, this would have been like the last season.
Right, but the sister who from Ganja and Hess plays Janet. Wait, Janet, that was Lamont's fiance, right?
Yeah, Janet Lawrence.
Yeah, that was the sister from Ganja and Hess.
Well, not in season 5.
Interesting.
In season 5, it was
Tatanisha,
who played her in episode 4 as well as episode 14.
You know who knew all of this? Aaron Fry, who started out with I Had a Crush on Her.
She also, because now I'm in our bag.
Look, man.
She was a regular on a show that I used to love as a kid, and I don't even remember it. Room 222.
Yeah. I actually have a DVD collection of Room 222.
Really?
I don't.
You've never seen,
because I didn't know anything about it.
Then why do you have it?
Because my girl is in it.
Who? Karen Valentine?
No, my girl.
I mean, that's who's in Room 222.
My girl. We were just talking about Uptown Saturday Night.
Denise Nichols.
Yeah, Denise Nichols.
Yeah. But I bet you've never cracked it open.
No. I've watched the DVD.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember it being on or even in reruns or anything.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't think it made it to long syndication.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right.
Okay. All right.
Well, we stand corrected.
We do in real time. This is what I love.
Real time.
This is what I love.
So no need for an email from the corrections department.
We mixed up Ren Woods and Tatanisha.
Okay. 2 great tastes that taste great together. Vincent, would you recommend that people watch Car Wash?
Absolutely. 100%. You have to watch Car Wash.
I think I'd land on recommending it.
Yeah. I mean, it's an hour and a half. It's Car Wash. It's like an hour and a half in 15 minutes are music montages.
True. I will say this does have me curious to watch The Wash.
It does not make me curious to watch The Wash at all.
Well, I'm curious of because I'm just curious to see what they did with it.
Okay.
You know, I'm curious.
Okay.
I mean, I won't do it before I have to.
Well, look, I will never pick The Wash.
I ain't rushing.
Yeah.
To it, but I am curious to check it out. But yeah, there you go. That's where we stand on Car Wash, ladies and gentlemen. But before we tell you what we're going to be watching next week here on the Michelle Mission, I invite you all to check out our website, the Michelle Mission, 2 men, 1 podcast, every black film ever made, michellemission.com, where you can hit swag and check out all the cool designs that we have coming your way by way of our good friends at T Public, including our 6 Degrees of Derville Martin collection. And I really do think I may have to get on that Killer of Childhood Dreams
nice
collection as well. Feel free to email us at michellemission@gmail.com. Hit us a voicemail. Leave us a voicemail at 215-867-9666 and tell Vincent and Len what is on your mind. I actually have somebody who's threatening to leave us a voicemail about a recent comic book recommendation that you made. Follow the Michelle Mission on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter as well at Michelle Mission. Subscribe to the Michelle Mission on YouTube and Twitch at Michelle Mission. And you can subscribe where you find podcasts and give us a 5-star rating and review, especially if it's on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, because that helps people find our show. And the Michelle Mission is a proud member of The Podglomerate, thepodglomerate.com. They make podcasts work. The Michelle Mission is produced by Vincent and Len. It is edited by me here in the Bat Base. Our co-producer is Maurice Poplar, or Mo Pop, as you can check him out. And our social media is by Toya Haynes. And our music, our intro music, is by one Alexa Gold. Next week on the Nichelle Mission.
All right.
We are still in the year of 1975. It is my turn to select a film.
Yes, it is.
And this is a film that has been daring me to reach out and select it for quite some time. Because I always wanted to do like a blaxploitation film, but I wanted to do an action blaxploitation film, but not one of the more popular blaxploitation films. And this one has been crying out to me because it screams of action from everything I know about the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But the title,
okay,
is something different.
Okay.
And that is The Candy Tangerine Man.
The Candy Tangerine. I've actually never seen this.
Me neither.
Okay.
But we will watch it and we will present it to you.
Okay.
Next week here on the Nichelle Mission. Now, quick programming note for all of you.
A programming note.
The Nichelle Mission is actually going to be going on vacation next week.
Yes.
As we, take a week off to just recharge our batteries. But Vincent and I are going to record the Candy Tangerine episode. We've actually already done it, and we're going to be broadcasting it to you next week on our regular time, on our regular day, next Tuesday, August 9th at 7 p.m. So you still will have a brand new show to check us out. All right. So we just want to let you know, and you can scream at us all you want.
Right. It just won't be live.
It won't be live.
There you go.
But, who knows? Someone may be monitoring the comments.
Yes.
So act accordingly.
Behave.
I'm talking to you, Miss Battle. All right. Until next week, he's Vincent, I'm Len, and in parting, we say,
we'll see you when it's time